my gosh, you guys, I am so excited. We have Hannah, Hannah Hayes. You guys, I did a bunch of emoji reviews. I forget where to look with my camera, so forgive me. It's like one of those weird things. So let me try to look better at the camera. So I first found Hannah Hayes, and we're going to talk about this in the panel, so I probably shouldn't go too much into it. But okay, I'm not going to go too much into it. Hannah Hayes is the author of Pack Rivals and Fractured Fates. And I have been so excited to do this live with her. I mean, what an honor that she'll do this with me. Like, it's just crazy. And so we scheduled this live. I'm going to bring her on in a minute. And then also Amy Reynolds, who is a moderator in the FanGrrrl Romance Recs groups, and also Sandy Powell Kelly. She is or Kelly Powell. Oh my gosh, girl. Powell Kelly, I said it right. I got confused for a second. She's one of those that have like the 3 names. Anyway, so she is also here too. She's one of my good friends as well, and also a moderator in the group. And they're all here to fangirl with me with Hannah. And we're just going to talk to her about just how awesome she is, what she writes, how she writes, just all that jazz. And if you guys like mention comments, so go ahead and just give permission to Restream for your name so we know who you are. And if you guys have comments, then we will we'll ask her, throughout the live. And yeah, so we're just like super excited. We are streaming in the FanGrrrl Romance Recs big Facebook group, the one with 46,000 members now. We're streaming in the Edgy Contemporary Romance group. We're streaming on the Facebook page for FanGrrrl Romance Recs, Instagram, YouTube. Yeah, I think that's it. So the 3 groups, the page, YouTube, and Instagram. So a lot of places, which is awesome. So I don't actually see everybody's comments here, but we'll see a few. So just go ahead and comment and we'll do the best we can. Okay, all that being said, let me bring in Hannah 1 second. I'm going to pop out and I'm going to bring her in first. Okay, here we go. Actually, that's just awkward. I'm just going to bring her in. Hannah, you're coming in where you come in. There you go. Hi. Oh my goodness. I'm so excited to have you here. Okay, let me get Amy and Sandy. They're all coming in. Oh, and you went to the bottom right corner. Oh, well, that's okay. That's okay. You're living in the bot. You never know with these things. I was trying to figure out like how to put everybody on the whatever it is, what it is. Hi. You're okay. Okay. I couldn't hear you. Try that again.
I said, I'm happy you're here.
Okay. You're happy you're here. Yay. We're happy to have you. So you are in where? Where do you live? Tell everyone.
So I live in a city called St Albans, which is just north of London in Hertfordshire. Yeah, in England.
Okay. In England, we would never know from your accent. In England. Oh, Tanasha just came on here and said hi. Tanasha's been joining like every live lately. So hi, Tanasha. Just nice to see you. Yeah, we're like, hi, Tanasha. Okay. So anyways, I was super excited because I saw you for the first time at FFB like last 2 weekends ago, maybe? Was it 2 weeks?
Yeah.
2 weekends? Yeah. Yeah. It's it was a whirlwind, wasn't it? And Sandy was there too. She was my camera woman.
Yeah, it was brilliant.
Yeah.
We had a lot of fun, didn't we? Especially in the ball afterwards.
Yes.
You looked beautiful in the ball.
Thank you. I did a lot.
You did.
Did you? I'm not sure if I saw you 2 dancing. Did you dance?
Yes, with Ryan Stacks. Just saying. We got out there, I think once or twice. I think our feet were totally wiped out. Mine were by the ball, but I did my best and sucked it up.
Oh, that just reminded me too. They all went out dancing and my feet were killing me from doing all the interviewing. So I went and sat down and I was like, yes, it was you, Hannah. I went and sat down and I was like, no one was around and it was like in the dark. And I was like, and then Hannah's like behind me. She's like, hi. Oops. Yeah. So, okay. Anyways, so Hannah, tell us what you write. We are diehard fans of your books. So I'm going to give you the stage for a second and talk to us about the genre and the books that you have to get us going.
Okay. So the overall banner is probably Paranormal Why Choose Romance. And then I'm kind of known for 2 things. So Sweet Omegaverse which Megaverse is slightly complicated if you're not quite sure what it is, but yeah. And then also more of a kind of darker, bully, magical academy series as well. So both go under the banner of I Choose Paranormal Romance.
Okay, so my first experience with you was Pack Rivals, which is an Omegaverse.
Yeah.
How about you, Amy and Sandy? What was your first experience with Hannah's books?
Pack Rivals.
Pack Rivals?
Fractured
Yeah.
Fates.
Fractured Fates. Who did you hear about her from?
Me, I heard about her from you. You talked her up, and then when she was going to be at the FFB, it was like that's when I latched on and read the book, and I haven't looked back. So it's very exciting, and then to get to meet you, total fangirling here.
It's crazy though, right? When you meet an author for the first time, that you kind of idolize and you love their books. It's a definitely fangirl moment for sure. I don't know if you ever get past that.
Can I ask you guys a question then? So can I ask you guys a question? When you read a book, do you ever think about the author and what they might be like and imagine them? Or does it never even come into your mind? Oh, you do? Oh, yeah, that's interesting.
I did. I will
yeah.
say I never did as much prior to getting involved with FanGrrl. And once I did and saw the other side of it, it's like, wow, they really are people. And it's been a total eye-opener for me. And it's just broadened the whole reading experience for me. And I never thought I would be sitting here today doing what I'm doing and, you know, helping Rebecca and Amy and meeting you. And it's wonderful.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I think I factored in authors a lot when I was reading, but really focused more on the author side of it after I joined FanGrrl's Romance Recs. So I love it. I love it. I love being able to interact with all the authors. I'm so sad I wasn't able to go to FFB and meet you.
It killed me. We could have used you too. We needed help.
Absolutely.
It was my first one, and it was so much fun. I definitely recommend coming along if you can. Definitely.
Oh yeah, I plan on going next year.
We were talking
for 23, but
yeah, we were talking about it a little before, weren't we? And it was just the way they did the ball in the evening was just amazing. So it had like for those who weren't there, it was like a fantasy theme to it, and it was in the cathedral, so it had like all these huge arches, and the way all the tables were set up, it was like being in like an Elven castle, having your banquet with everyone in their beautiful dresses. It was magical. I'm so excited to go again next year.
I saw the announcement that you definitely are locked in.
Yeah. I got my ticket.
Yeah.
Yay.
That's so like they turn that fast too. Like it ends and they're already selling. Actually, I think Amy, weren't you saying they were selling tickets like before FFB?
Yeah, before FFB.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, it's insane. It was an amazing time, really, and I was really excited that I got to interview you at the booth. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was.
And you're like all pink. Like right now, you're not really wearing. What color are you wearing? Is that like coral right now?
Yeah, it's like a red today.
Yeah, but like your booth is pink.
I went pink. Yeah, I went pink because a lot of the stands are quite dark. So I figured if I go pink, I stand out. And also I love that shade of pink. I really like it. So I'm quite happy to love it. Be surrounded by it.
Well, I mean, Pack Rivals is very pink, right? It's the front cover. And that's actually what got my attention to read it was the cover. I think the cover is absolutely gorgeous for Pack Rivals.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think she's gorgeous, isn't she? But Sweet Makeress is a little bit different like that to the other white shoes out there, and they are really pretty books with like beautiful girls and really lovely covers, and it's always like candy, like nice pinks and purples. It's funny. I guess it's so that it stands out and tells you this might be a Megaverse and it's going to be steamy, definitely going to be steamy, but it's also going to be sweet. That the guys ultimately are going to be really, really nice to her at the end of the day.
I know. I love those guys. And I couldn't choose, so it was the end of.
Well, why choose?
One
right?
was fantastic.
It was, I was telling you during the at FFB, Hannah, that Pack Rivals was the first Omegaverse that I read that I really loved. Like I wasn't a huge Omegaverse fan before Pack Rivals for a couple different reasons, and I'm a firm believer that you can, if you try, you can find a book probably in any trope that you'll enjoy, even if you don't enjoy that trope, because not everybody writes like the same formula.
Yeah.
And so like I was constantly trying Omegaverses, trying to find the one, and Pack Rivals was the one for me. I fell in love with it. I thought it was fantastic.
Oh, thank you.
You know, so tell us what Omegaverse is, since you said earlier not everyone, like you were saying it's a whole new world, I think is what you said at the very beginning.
See, this is where I'm going to fail miserably, because as a author that writes it, I should have my answer like that, right? And I always struggle. But the way I kind of explain it is, if you've ever read or watched like a werewolf romance, it's very similar to that. So you have like, sometimes you have the hierarchy in the like society in the werewolves, where you have like alphas are the top ones, and then you might have betas that are kind of like normal, and then you have omegas. Sometimes they're treated like really precious, and sometimes treated not so well, depending on who's writing the book. But in Omegaverse, they stay human, they don't shift. But there are some interesting biology, so knots and heats and things like that. I could go into detail if you want me to, or not.
Well, there are probably people who are watching that don't know, like really understand what Omegaverse is, or like I'll see comments in the group. People are really genuinely confused. They're like, "There's an alpha, there's a beta, but there's no shifting," because you're used to that. That I would probably. I mean, I'm not like a complete historian when it comes to this, but I would imagine that the wolf shifting was written first before Omegaverses. I think it came along later. So like how, like what, do you know anything about like how it started up, or like how did you get involved in writing it? Like how did you get into it to start writing it?
I know originally it came from, I think, like Superman fan fiction. Like
really? Okay, see, I didn't know.
And it was Omegaverse was definitely bigger in fan fiction for a long time before it kind of like moved into like mainstream. I don't know if that's the word. So I found it in fan fiction, actually, which is also where I found romance, because over here in the UK, we don't really have romance like you guys do. Like it's kind of, or if we do, it's hidden. So if you go into the main bookshop here, like the main brand, your equivalent of Barnes and Noble here in the UK, if you walk in, there isn't a romance section. The romance books are like hidden among the general fiction. So you get the like crazy, like, I don't know, modern poetry section, but you don't get a romance section. So yeah,
insane. That's crazy.
I couldn't find romance books, and I didn't find them until I found fan fiction and started reading all these amazing stories that other people were writing with like major romance themes, and like following the romance structure of a book. And then I moved on to other romance, and I was like, wow, this is what I really love. This is what I've always loved. It's always been the love stories, the bit of the story that I've always been interested in. And then whenever I've read another book or watched a film, it's always the couple, will they get together, that has been the thing that's interested me. So once I found that was like, oh, this is what I want to write. So but yeah,
shame on them for hiding the romance section over there. I mean, come on. Like, I mean, romance is the #1 genre for books. It's got the most sales in romance.
I don't get it. Yeah, it's crazy. Crazy. Yeah.
That is insane.
Yeah.
So you got past the poetry. You found the romance. Roses are red, violets are blue. I'd rather romance. How about you? How's that on the fly? I'm here all night. I'm here now. Anyways, so you found the romance, obviously, and then but Omegaverse, you said, so it's like Superman. Like I don't get. So I'm not.
I didn't find it that way. That's where it started. So it started in.
That's where you started it.
Okay.
Superman or Batman or something like that. That's where it started.
Oh, wow.
And like spread through all the different fandoms in fan fiction. So I came across it in. I don't know if you've heard this fan fiction in particular, Star Wars, and it's Reylo. So it's Rey and Kylo Ren. So it's a real kind of enemies to lovers stories, and that's how I got into it randomly. Yeah. So
Wow, so that's not that long ago. And by the way, I love that love story, Enemies to Lovers, and I haven't actually read like fan fiction of it, but or seen it. But like when I watch the movies, I always kind of like I think it's just all the enemies to lovers we read, you know? I'm like I kind of wanted it to happen.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it didn't happen. Sorry, spoiler alert. In the movies anyways. So well that's cool. That's so Omegaverse like so explain to us a little bit for anyone watching again, like I know we kind of started about the origin, but you know what, and you said a little bit about the like knots and stuff like that, and like a little bit of the alphas, but it's like it's typically why choose, right? And there's scenting involved.
Oh, so no, not necessarily. So you can get
Not necessarily.
You can get Omegaverse, which is called Mpreg, where one of the guys is usually an Omega and can get pregnant. You can get MF, and then you can get Y choose, which is the really popular one at the moment, where there's usually a pack of alphas, who are the kind of like we say the kind of top dogs, and they're usually wanting an Omega for their pack, who's usually a woman, but can sometimes be a dude. And then I guess they're driven by their instincts, and so there's lots of scent involved. They often attracted to each other's scents. Their scents will often give them hidden signals that us as normal human beings can't like read. So they might know if they're frightened or happy or turned on or whatever. And then they'll also have like heating cycles, or mating cycles where they go into heat, extra horny.
Body conjunction. Yeah, it's like the
So I guess people like it because often at that stage, they're kind of like they're being really driven by their instincts, and they're like they just want each other and they can't control it, and that's quite hot, isn't it? So
yeah.
Yes.
You read it well. I haven't read it yet. Somebody go pick up Pack Rivals. It's great. It's fantastic.
I'm heading there after this. Really?
It is really great. For me, like the Omegaverses, I struggled with them before yours because I really like a strong FMC, and I like her to stay strong. So like I want her to be like strong outside the bedroom. I'm okay with her being submissive in the bedroom, but I want it to like stay that way. And yours is that way. And that's why I think I was really drew in. I was drew in because she stays strong and she's like, see ya at one point. And I won't give too much of a spoiler. But then she has the packs fighting over her, which is a really interesting concept because all the other Omegaverses I had tried that were a why choose, it was just one pack. It wasn't two packs.
Yeah.
So you want to tell us a little bit about the plot line without giving too many spoilers, if it's possible?
So it basically is what it says in the tin, right? So it's pack rivals. So there's so B is our heroine, and she has just run away from her hometown after a really bad breakup, and she's headed into the city to live with her cousin for a bit to kind of clear her head. And she's kind of lived in her small town all her life, thinking that she's a beta, which is like us, normal. And then she gets to the city.
Wait, hold on. A what was that?
A beta. It's so confusing. Just go with me.
We're going
beta. If she's saying beta, guys, that's what she's saying. Beta.
Because you say it differently to me, right? Yeah. Okay.
Accent different. Okay. Do you know when I was at FFB, someone came up to me and said they loved my accent? What accent? Anyways,
it's like that though, isn't it? You love our accents and we love yours, so
it's true. That's true. Okay, sorry, you're beta. Sorry.
So she gets to the city and she meets alphas for the first time, and that kind of makes her present or like as an Omega. And then she starts experiencing all these things that for the first time. She's never expected that she was an Omega. It's all a bit crazy. She's like we're saying, she starts smelling things that she's never smelled before, feeling different things, and she attracts the attention of the alphas in the city because Omegas are quite rare, and she's pretty and quite fun, and the guys that she the attention that they attract includes two rival packs who are kind of like the hot shot packs in the city, right? And they are fighting over her, and that's basically the setup for the book. Yeah, and there's some things we learn about the rivalries of the pack that clear as we go on through the story, which makes it a bit more intricate and interwoven than you would necessarily expect to begin with. Wouldn't you say? Yeah.
I would say when Amy and I read the end of that book, we talked about it. We were excited about the ending of the book, and it's got a great cliffhanger.
Yeah.
But then the next book is out, so you're okay. It's okay. Just go down on the next book. So everyone's like, no, a cliffhanger.
I'm a bit guilty. I do really like writing cliffhanger. I really love them. Like, I love cliffhangers anyway in normal life, not just ones I've written. But I love the way they make me feel, you know, especially if you've got to wait a little bit of time. I know you were saying it's quite good when the next one's there, but if I'm forced to wait,
they're both great.
Think and stew, I quite like that.
Yeah, I like them both actually, and I think that's like one of the things that's nice about, you know, Facebook groups like ours, or when you make book besties, you know, or you join the authors group. Authors group is a great place to go, because then you can sit there with like-minded people who love the books too, and they're all excited about the next one, and they're just like guessing. You know, I remember when Broken Bonds came out. Have you read Broken Bonds by Jay Bree? I don't know if it's a White Shoes, but it's not Omegaverse. So when that came out, everybody was going to the authors group trying to speculate what was going on with Atlas in the book, and it's just like, that's just so cool to like, you know, make those bonds. Yeah. You know? Yeah. So part of me is like,
I love all the little theories that, you know, we as readers, even if they don't turn out to be right, they're still fun, right?
They're fun. Yeah. You know, and it builds the anticipation, and, you know, so it's, they're both can be great. You know, how about you guys, Amy, Sandy, do you like cliffhangers?
I do.
Yeah.
As long as I don't have to wait too long, because then it's like, it drives me crazy, but I do like a cliffhanger.
I love a cliffhanger, and I love that, Hannah, you put pre-orders out so I can see when your next book's coming out, which actually it's coming out. Is it next week?
Yes, next week. Yeah.
Yes, book 3 next week. I'm so excited. Also, spoiler alert, in case nobody else knows, but her 4th book, if you didn't know, there's 4 books of this series of Fractured Fates and the Feathered Stone Academy. It's up for pre-order too.
Right. All right, so we've been talking about pack rivals so much, right? Because that was my first experience with you, and that's when I first reached out to you, and I wrote an emoji review, and I asked you, will you join my group? I think I asked you, and you're like, sure, which was so cool. But then I stumbled upon Fractured Fates, and actually I did a double take, like when I started Fractured Fates, because it doesn't feel like the same author. It's a compliment. It's a compliment. Like the writing is so that the stories are so different from one another. It's like really how talented you are to be able to do a White Shoes that's an enemies to lovers, kind of a bully romance, angsty. You know, that's your Fractured Fates versus your sweet cinnamon roll, you know, Omegaverse, where they're fighting over her. It's like, it's really impressive, you know? So how did you like, how does that happen? How do you write something so entirely different, but amazing in both ways? Like,
I to be honest, really don't know. I guess before I started writing professionally, I used to work for charities, doing like work for like, how can I explain it? Speaking up on behalf of people who had different health conditions, and we used to have to write to the Minister of Health, and then we'd also have to write for people who were going through difficult things, and so we like had to change the language all the time. So I guess I got good at doing it from that, like writing in different voices and in different ways and that kind of thing. And then also I think I'd written quite a lot of the Omegaverse, and I just needed to change. Like we were talking, I think, before in the other interview about palate cleansers. Yeah. Like you go read a load to read something really sweet. It's a bit like that when you write as well. I'd written a lot of kind of like sweet Omegaverse, which is it's kind of like contemporary, even though it's almost like contemporary romance, even though it is paranormal. And I just need to change. I needed something, like you said, a bit darker and angstier. Yeah, so maybe I just needed the change to make me write that way. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, and but what made you go towards enemies to lovers and bully romance other than just a change? Just because you enjoy reading it and you thought you'd give it a shot, or did you? How did you get the idea?
I love all the tropes. I really, really love tropes.
Yeah, me too.
But enemies and love to lovers is one of my favorite. I mean, that's how I came to romance, through that whole like watching a Star Wars film randomly, thinking, "Oh my goodness, these two enemies have real heat between each other. I need to go read about this now." And so it's like, yeah, I love it a lot. And so I really wanted to write it. And I guess the Sweet Omegaverse didn't really lend itself so much to writing like a real enemies to lovers.
No, it doesn't. And they're both great, you know. And like, I know the three of us, we're huge readers. We read a lot, and we always toggle. You know, we do. We'll read a bunch of one thing, and then we'll switch to something else. And I think you enjoy things better that way, right?
Yeah.
At least I do.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. It makes you appreciate it because you're not so like jaded by reading the same stuff all the time. So you just switch it around. So I often say, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Go on, you go.
No, I was just gonna say one thing too. Like, I often tell people when I talk about your books, Pack Rivals and Fractured Fates, which we'll talk about Fractured Fates in a second, because like the three of us are gaga over Fractured Fates.
Mm-hmm.
We love Pack Rivals too. Sandy, I don't think you've read Pack Rivals. You said
I have not, but I will.
Yeah. But it reminds me a lot of anyone who's watching of Raven Kennedy. I told you this at your interview, our interview with the FFB. It reminds me a lot of Raven Kennedy because you can go read The Plated Prisoner by Raven Kennedy. That's an MF. It's angsty, you know. And then you can go read Cupidity by Raven Kennedy, which is funny, lighthearted. Why choose? You never know they were the same author. It's only because her name is on the front, you know? And I don't mean to keep harping this in, but I think that's just such a huge compliment. Like, I'm so impressed by you. Seriously. When I read Fractured Fates, I was blown away. I thought it was amazing. And it was like, oh, wow, Hannah Haze, the one who wrote Pack Rivals, which I also love, is the person who wrote this. This is crazy, you know? So
I think it can be a bit tough because we're kind of like told as writers that you should just write the same thing and stick in your, so if you are someone who wants to write loads of different things, quite tough. But
but I think being a KU author probably helps a little bit, does it?
Yeah. I think you're right. Yeah,
just a little bit.
Yeah.
So okay, well, we're Fractured Fates. Let's talk about Fractured Fates. Like, we are fangirling. Like, Amy, huge fan.
I mean, I just
huge fan. It. Yeah, and Sandy, also a huge fan. Yes. And you guys know how I feel. So why don't you guys talk a little bit about why you love it, and then Hannah, we should hear about it from you. It's like, you know, you wrote it.
Go ahead, Amy.
Honestly, I love that Ree, the main character, is like discovering herself in the book because she's been so sheltered growing up and like really isolated. So when she goes into Featherstone Academy, she just like really is just bombarded with a whole bunch of different scenarios that she has never experienced before. So I really liked how she had to stay true to herself and who she was before she became registered, but like still was discovering all new things about herself and how she tackled all those different things that were thrown at her by like the whole school.
Yeah,
man, it was like a little rough, the enemies, but I'm invested in the Man in Black, in Stone. I'm just I love them all. I just can't wait to see where it all goes.
Yes.
Now, Stone reminds me of. Oh, sorry. No, I'm sorry. Okay. I mean, Stone reminds me of a bit of a. I don't know why. Like, I think of Orion from Ruthless Boys, or not Ruthless Boys, Zodiac Academy. I don't know because of the professor relationship. You know, I think, and so that I was like, yeah, I love that. Oh, sorry, Sandy. Go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, that's okay. So I'm kind of new to the Why Choose universe. This is only like my third, and I will say I'm loving it. Totally loving it. I like how Ree is no nonsense. She doesn't, I know deep down she cares, but she has that facade, you're not gonna, like kind of like wants to flip them off, okay, bring it on. And I like that. She's strong. And like Amy said, she's discovering herself. And the men, holy moly, the tension just going through the first book. It's like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. I'm waiting, and then cliffhanger, and then it's like, oh my God. So I started into the next one, and so glad that more are coming quickly. But you've got a wonderful character diversity. Now, something that I'm going to throw out here that I had asked, or actually Rebecca asked at FFB, but it was my question. How did you come up with some of the names? So tell us, I already know, Rebecca already knows how you came up with Rihanna's name, because I thought that was fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
So my dad is a very big Fleetwood Mac fan, and we used to listen a lot to the albums in the car, including like Stevie Nicks' later stuff. And so obviously you might know that she has the song Rhiannon, which is about a witch. And so I knew that if I ever wrote about a witch, I was going to have to call her that name. And often when I'm typing away, I can hear it like playing in my head.
Yes, I can now too when I read it, because you said it. So now it's like it all kind of makes sense.
I mean, I love her music anyway. It's quite atmospheric, isn't it? Especially that song. You can almost see her on the wind or whatever. Yeah. Yes.
Okay, so tell us about. So we're talking about it, but tell us about Fractured Fates. What is it about, Hannah? I was gonna say tell us what we love about it, but we just told you what we love about it. Except I didn't really, not yet.
Well, I'm pleased that one of the main reasons you like it is because of Ree. Because I agree, I really like her. Like, you get to know your characters when you're writing, and get to like them. So like your baby. So to hear that other people like them it's nice. So she is a witch, but in this world they're called magicals. And when we start the story, she's on the run basically, because she is an unregistered magical, and in this world that is frowned upon and not allowed. So we meet her basically when the man in black is catching her and bringing her in, and she's going to be forced to attend school like everyone else, the Arrowheart Academy, where you're trained in your kind of arts as a magical, and eventually you'll be sent to defend the country. And while she is, I guess, taking on her journey, she's starting to experience strange sensation when she's around certain individuals who all happen to be male. One of them being the original man in the black. So kind of her very first meeting with him, she kind of feels a strange pull towards him, and she doesn't know what it means. And it's not until later on in the books that we're going to discover what that means. Although us as the readers, because we know, and we've read quite a lot of these things, we kind of know right from the start what that sign probably means, that they're probably fated mates. But Rhea is ignorant, like you say. She's been kept away from the world, so she doesn't know these things.
But that makes it so much fun, right, for the reader, because we know, but she doesn't know, so we're waiting to see what happens when she figures it out, It's building right into anticipation.
And we're also not quite sure if all the guys know. Like, sometimes we overhear conversations with them, and we're like, is that what we think it is, or are they talking about something else? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Is that one, or is it not? Yeah.
It's, it really has such great angst in it. The story with the 4 different guys, or maybe there's a 5th guy, right? I think actually it's known in the second book for sure, right? But is that true? Actually, is it known in the second book, or are we all just guessing?
It's known in the first book.
At the end of the first book, really?
Yeah.
That's when I picked it up.
How many spoilers? I think you get a little nudge. Yeah, in the end of the
little nudge. I mean, it's not like official, but you can read between the lines.
Yeah.
And that was actually a surprise for me with the 5th guy, because he's so morally gray. He's more of a morally gray black character, when it comes to the character, right? Like, so That I was surprised. I was especially knowing Hannah Haze was writing this, and she wrote the Sweet Pack Rivals Omegaverse. You know, here comes this it's like, ooh, who's this guy? It was great. I love it. I really love it so much, and I think Twisted Fates is just as strong. I told you this when we were talking in FFB. I think it's just as strong as the first one. I was really blown away by that. Not to say that I didn't think it was going to be good, but for a second book to be just as good as the first, that's pretty impressive, So good, well done on that.
And then like the third one as much, yeah.
I know. I'm sure. We can't wait for it. So when does it come out? The third one
comes out next Thursday.
Next Thursday. Yeah. Oh my gosh! So are you so excited?
Yeah, no, I am. Mostly to see what everyone's reaction is going to be. There's things funny in this third book. So yeah, I'm excited to see what people think of that. Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
So do you have ARC readers? Do you have an ARC team? You do.
Yeah. So yeah, they're chatting about it at the moment. Yeah. So the interesting conversation everyone's been having at the moment is about Pip. So I just wondered if you guys had any theories about Pip or any thoughts.
I hope Pip
for those listening is Rihanna's pet. So when we meet her, she is living on her own in basically in the forest in a house, and she's got some chickens and a pig, and she's kind of growing vegetables and trying to survive. And Pip is her only friend. And so when the man in black calls her to the academy, the deal she makes is that she's bringing her pig with her. And
I love that.
Yeah, and he is a pig that he thinks he's a dog. So yeah,
I love it. I love the pet pig. I thought it was great. I loved. Well, we're trying to stay away from spoilers, but it's kind of hard not to when you're talking to the author of the book that you love. So sorry, guys.
I'm biting my tongue over here.
yeah. Just kidding. I loved all the scary packages showing up. I thought that was really cool. Because it's like, what's going on? Who's sending them to her? I loved having the bitch queen bee element going on, where she's being nasty to her, and I loved that the guys were just trying so hard, fighting against that. All four of them are fighting against the bond. And like you said, some of them know it, some of them don't know it. I thought it was really interesting. I liked the stone being able to read people's minds. That's really cool too. Yeah. It's really cool. It's a really great book, story, So how did you come up with the idea? I know we talked about it a little bit before, but do you have any story on how you thought of all of it, or just woke up one morning starting to write?
So I think I said this to you before in the other interview. It was that first scene of her being on the run and this mysterious man in the hood chasing her.
Right. Yeah.
That was the kind of first thing that came to me. And then knowing that I wanted to write a story where it was kind of like a witch or a magical person going to an academy. And so then started to join all those parts together. And then wanting, like you say, the different guys to be quite individualistic.
Unique.
Their own traits and their different powers and the different things that makes them stand out. Yeah. So I can't remember how I came up with the different things for each of them, but I did.
Just figured out.
And I do like that Stone can read minds, because he's so snarky and sarcastic.
And she gives it back to him though with her thoughts, and that cracks me up. I love that.
Yeah. I like that. It's one of the things I find most fun to write is the banter between characters. And they've got some good stuff that they do. Yeah.
The angst is great. Sorry?
Yeah. Her best friend as well is really funny.
Oh, yeah.
Her Shelley in the book, and she makes me laugh.
It really has everything to it, It really does. It's got the friendship. It's got the funny kind of sidekick pig character. It's got the mystery of not knowing who's sending her the packages. It's got the angst between all the guys and her. It's got a little bit of the bullying. And then like the surprise, like, is she powerful? You know, we don't know if she's powerful or not. We assume she probably is. You know, with the Scarlet magic, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. I think that was Amy reminding me of the term earlier today. But yeah, it's great. Like I think it's fantastic, absolutely fantastic. Not to like make you feel weird or anything.
I think we'll learn some more about her powers and her past in the next book. I'm going to learn everything yet, but we'll get some more. Yeah, as she's learning it, we're learning it. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think that's why these kind of stories are always really nice, aren't they? When it's someone like Ree who doesn't understand, and it's from her point of view, and you're coming with her to the world, then you get to learn everything with her. Works quite well, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So I feel like I need to like I keep doing this to you. I don't know if I should do it or not. I don't know. Is it bad every time I do the correlation? Like I keep like in front of all the.
I don't mind
talking about that. You sure? Like I don't want to like offend you.
No, I'm fine.
You know where I'm heading. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. So this is like Amy understands this totally. Sandy, I don't think you know this yet because I don't think you've read it, but there is a bit of a phenomenon going on Amazon for an author that released their first book. She's an Irish author, and if you guys have read this book, The Black and Blade by Isla Devon, it's doing very, very well. And I keep telling everybody, I'm like, if you like The Black and Blade, read Fracture Fates. If you like The Black and Blade, read Fracture Fates. If you like The Black and Blade, read Fracture Fates. Like they're very unique on their own. Like I don't want to like insult either author. Like they're both amazing, but they're similar vibes. And so like all these people are reading Black and Blade and they're like, oh, I'm on this big book slump. And I'm like sneaking in there. I'm like, Fracture Fates, Fracture Fates, Fracture Fates. You know, because it's like it's so good. And I was telling you a little bit, like, I think one of the reasons why there's like a correlation there, at least for me, like, again, completely separate stories. But, you know, it's that bully romance kind of academy, enemies to lovers, angst is kind of going on kind of similar in both of them, but completely unique. Yeah. And I think Fracture Fates, I think it should be, you know, sky high soaring on the bestseller list. I mean, it's already doing well. I mean, it is on the bestseller list. You've done very well with it, you know, but I think like, you know, it should be, you know, way, 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 way up there. And I hope it does. I hope like this helps because I mean, it's really like, I love it, you know, not to make you feel weird or anything.
No.
Everyone's like, Rebecca, what are you doing? I just can't help it. I just love it so much. And
I've been really, like, I don't know if you have these, I use all these English words and I never know if you Americans know them or not. You know the word chuffed? Do you have the word chuffed?
I don't. What is it?
That's like really pleased. Chuffed.
Oh, chuffed. Yeah. Oh, I thought you said something else. I don't like. Yeah.
I was going to say, yeah, I'm really chuffed with how well it has done and the like reaction I've had and how people have been really excited about it and are really excited for the third book. I've had a lot of people like, can you hurry up and write it? I'm like going as fast as I can, honestly, guys. But yeah, so there's going to be 5 altogether, and the next one's coming out on Thursday, not tomorrow, the week after, and then there'll be another one in July and another one in October. So I'm trying to space them every 3 months so that I don't make you wait too long in between. It gives me
someone says chuffed to bits is the UK saying. Chuffed to bits.
Yeah, chuffed to
That's
bits.
Cute.
Yeah.
That's cute.
I like that.
I do too. So what's next on the horizon after that? Like after Fractured Fates? Do you have any other things in work?
So I am halfway through another sweet Omegaverse, Pat Gamble. I don't know if you've read that one, Amy. You have?
I have not read Pat Gamble yet, but it's on my TBR. TBR? Yeah. So
I've left people on a mega cliffhanger on that one as well. And so I shared something with a for Shattered Stars today in my Facebook group, and I just got a load of abuse about Pat Gamble. Like, when's that one coming? When's that one coming? So yeah, I'll be releasing part 2 of that book in May. Then I've got the last 2 of these series, and then I really want to write a Christmas book. Just going to be something completely different. And actually, what I'd really love to do is write one of those like Christmas movies, you know, that you get at Christmas time. The super easy ones. I'd love to write one of those. That'd be amazing. But I don't know.
Like a Hallmark original.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that'd be so cool.
Oh, can you imagine a Why Choose Hallmark original?
Oh, you would just
There's
start
a
a
market
whole
for it, okay? There's a market.
Whether they make it.
I just, for some reason, I don't see it happening anytime soon. But you never know. You never know, right? You
Hallmark
never know.
After Dark. Hallmark After Dark.
Does that exist?
You could start a thing.
I like it. Hallmark After Dark. Yeah, yeah.
And then I think I'm going to write, after that, I've got some ideas for like a real enemies to lovers, where they are proper enemies, like different sides of the war sort of enemies coming together. Yeah, okay. That's brewing in the back of my mind. Like I said, I really, really like enemies to lovers. So really, really.
Well, I do. That's
really
great.
like,
and your Steam is great too.
Yeah,
you do good spice.
Well, I'm still getting to the Steam, and yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's awesome. Sorry, what? I couldn't hear you, Hannah. What did you say? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm in both. I don't always, but in Pack Rivals and in Fractured Fates, you do have to wait a bit. That isn't always the case in my book. Some books literally start with a bang.
Oh,
but,
okay.
But yeah, on those two, you do have to wait quite a bit for the action to happen. But I quite like that. I like the kind of like build up the tension, and
I like a slow burn.
I do too.
What's a part of the angst, right? You can't have an enemies. Well, I guess you could have an enemies to lovers with really fast burn, technically, but that's part of it, right? Like,
yeah.
Will they? Wait, they? Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's like Stone, right? Stone is really resisting in it. Like he is really resisting. You know, it's cool. That's awesome. So, how long have you been writing? I don't think we covered that, have we? How long you've been writing for, and what got you into writing? Or did we cover it and I missed it, which is possible.
So my mum is a teacher. So we always have books at home. And so I was always a big reader. And my parents are divorced as well. So we used to spend a lot of time driving from one parent to the other. And so be in the car and I'd be making up stories all the time in my head. And then sometimes I'd write them down. And so yeah, I've always been, like a lot of writers, I've always been someone who's making up stories. And I was good at English at school, but I kind of got persuaded not to do it, like a lot of people, because, you know, writers don't make any money and you'll be miserable and you'll never publish your book and all that kind of stuff. So I went and did science at university. And then I was always kind of trying to write a book at the same time in the background, went to different classes. But it wasn't until I watched that Star Wars film and got into fan fiction and kind of discovered all these other people doing all this writing for fun, and started publishing things for other people to read and getting that reaction, that I really found what I loved to write, and started to get a lot better at it as well. So, and then I went from there, really.
I'm so blown away about the fact that you got into romance books because of Kylo Ren. Like, I just don't know why. Like, that is just so, like, I don't think I've ever had an author tell me that. I did, you know, when I go to my bookstore, it's just poetry, number one. And then, I was watching Star Wars and really liked Kylo Ren and Rey. Like,
but Ali Hazelwood, that's how she started. You know, have you read The Love Hypothesis? That is
actually not, no.
Okay, so Love Hypothesis, so I don't know if you remember, it's like a really big book about a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
That is based on one of her fan fictions. It's especially if you look at the cover, you can see it's Kylo Ren and Rey from Star Wars right there on the cover.
50 Shades of Grey start off as fan fiction?
Yeah, that was Twilight. Yeah.
Fan fiction for 50 Shades of Grey and Twilight was,
Yes.
Yeah, and I think there's another one.
Amy, you know everything. Like,
She
seriously.
does.
She does.
I bow down to her. If you want to know, you ask Amy.
But I think it's a great place for a lot of for writers to start if there's anyone out there who is a writer, because you get instant feedback. People will tell you if they love your writing or they hate it, and you get to know what people like and don't like, what they get excited about, and it's good practice just being brave enough to publish your work as well, because that's pretty scary the first time you do it, right? So yeah, like some people can be a bit funny about fan fiction, but I think it's brilliant. It's a lot of fun and really nice people, really supportive. Yeah, so
that's awesome. So okay, so have you always? So what was your first book that you published?
Well, that's complicated. So my first book was like when I just sneaked out into Amazon under a different name, almost to like see if I could make the technical side of it work. Because as you noticed when we first started this call, I'm not always great at technology. But then the first proper one under Hannah Haze, which is a full-length novel, was called Oxford Heat. And that was an MF Omegaverse, yes. And I published that about 3 years ago now, yeah.
How many years? Sorry?
Probably about 3.
Okay, yeah.
Oh.
Okay, cool. So you said science. So did you ever work in the field? Like what kind of, So
I did chemistry.
Chemistry.
But no, I found this is really ironic. I found it really, really lonely at the time, and so I wanted to go and do something with people. now I'm a writer on my own every day.
Because like you hear from a lot of authors how lonely it is to be an author because you're in your writing cave so much.
Yeah,
that
is the thing. That is the thing I find challenging, because I am I get my energy from people, and I'm fascinated by people as well. I love people watching. Then when we go in a restaurant, my husband's now trained to give me a certain seat so that I can see everybody in the restaurant.
So you're an extrovert. I didn't realize that. I don't know why I didn't realize that.
I'm weird. So like I can be quite shy.
Oh, you're weird.
I can be quite yeah, I'm an author, right? So I can be shy, but I get my energy from people. Yeah.
Wow. So that that's like, not to get into something completely off topic, but that's like the definition of an extrovert?
What, to get there?
People think an extrovert is someone who's really talkative, right? That's what and then the introvert is really someone who's really quiet and shy, but it's actually how you get your energy.
Yeah.
So, okay, all right. Okay. So I'm just boring you now.
I not know that, Rebecca. You should keep saying.
Okay. All right. So so I learned this because I used to work on the space shuttle program, and sitting next to me was an engineer that used to teach classes and being an introvert and an extrovert. And so he taught me a lot, which helped me with my marriage with Calvin, my husband, because he's a major introvert. And I didn't understand how we were not understanding each other at times. And once I learned it, I was like, oh, this makes so much sense. So an extrovert gets their energy from being around people. So like if you go to a party, an extrovert's going to come home really charged, like just on cloud 9, full of energy. They've talked to everybody. They've had the best time ever. An introvert's going to come home just completely exhausted, and they need that time to just recharge. So it has a lot to do with where you get your energy from, more than like how outspoken you are. So that just, and also like with the way you process your thoughts. So an introvert process what they think first, and then they speak. An extrovert talks as they speak. So that was really eye-opening for me with Calvin, because and Amy knows me really well, I'm talking as I'm thinking. So by the time I get to where I'm going, I'm probably entirely different than I was when I started, which can be really tiring for some people to listen to and go along the ride with you. But that's how you know who your best friends are.
Yeah, this is why I have to go on walks with my husband. I'm like, come on, we're going on a walk, because if I'm in my office with my thoughts, I sometimes I just need to speak them out, especially if I'm stuck in a plot point and I don't know what to do. I have to go and speak out the problem, and then I can solve it. So he has to just walk alongside, being quiet.
Oh,
I
that's
don't know
so sweet,
anybody
though.
like that. I don't know
It's so
anybody like that,
sweet.
Rebecca.
Yeah, these ladies hear me a lot. I leave a lot of voice texts. You know?
She's the queen. She is the queen of the voice text.
You know, I've left you voice texts saying that too. I'm like, you know. So bless you guys. Bless you, as they say in England. Bless you. You know, over here we say bless your little heart, right? Isn't that what we
Bless
say?
your heart.
Bless your heart.
And we say
Bless your
bless your
heart.
cotton socks.
Bless your what?
Cotton socks.
Oh, that's a new one. Bless your cotton socks.
Where did that come
Thanks for
from?
that.
You have no idea. Yeah, that's how it is with most phrases.
Yeah.
Well, your husband and you guys are so cute.
Yes.
Like adorable together. Super cute.
Yeah, we've
Do
been
you get
together
that a lot?
Yeah. Yeah, we've been together since I was 20. And as you can tell, that was quite a long time ago.
No. No, you look great.
Oh, thank you.
And he does he read your books?
No. He read one or two of the first ones, but yeah, he's more of an audiobook listener anyway. But
Yeah.
he reads, listens to things like about geography and nations and wars and stuff. He's not so interested in the romance. Although having said that, he will watch all of it with me. He loves those kind of things. So he'll happily sit, and we talked about this as well. He'll happily sit and watch Pride and Prejudice with me,
Right.
or Bridgerton, or anything like that. So yeah.
Oh, we did talk about the fact that you're a huge Pride and Prejudice fan.
Yeah.
Huge.
Yeah.
So what's your favorite adaptation of Pride and Prejudice?
That's very easy. The BBC version, with
Colin Firth.
Yeah, exactly.
We talked.
But I also really love. So I like all the Jane Austen, but I really like the Sense and Sensibility with Kate Winslet and Emma.
I own it.
Yeah, I love that. So I'm an older sister, and I've got a little sister, and there's a scene with the two sisters that makes me cry every time. Yeah.
Which scene? I'm trying to think which scene is that? Because I've seen it a lot of times.
Marianne's like very, very, very ill, and Eleanor's.
Oh yeah.
That's it. Yeah. So yeah, that gets me every time. Yeah.
It's so funny that Snape is in it.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
You just don't like, realize that that's, yeah, it's pretty funny.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have that movie on, I bought Senseless Disability and Pride and Prejudice, the one with Keira Knightley. I have that one too. And I watch those. I love the BBC adaptation though. That's my favorite one. But I watch those all the time. Like all the time. It's one of those things I'll just put on when I just need some, like I'll read actually while it's on in the background sometimes, so.
Yeah. I'm going to listen to it when I need cheering up. Yeah. Did you ever hear that thing that men think about the Roman Empire at least once a day? Has that come over to America? Oh, they keep going on.
I know.
Someone did research, and apparently men think about the Roman Empire at least once a day. And I think I probably think about Pride and Prejudice at least once a day.
That is a fan. You are. Have you seen the one with is it called Austen Land? Austen Land.
Yeah, I've seen them all, honestly.
Oh, you've seen them all. Okay, you've seen them all. Okay, I loved Austen Land. Yeah, she is a certified fan. How old were you then when you first read it? Were you really young? Is that like how it started?
I was like 15 or 16 when the BBC version came out, and it was like a huge deal here in the UK because it was like on a Sunday night, and everyone in the country was sitting down to watch it at the same time every Sunday. So yeah, I think I probably read it before then, maybe, but yeah, it had a big impression on me. Obviously.
Wow.
So
the first time. Sorry.
There's often little Easter Pride and Prejudice or Jane Austen Easter eggs in my books, so you have to look out and see if you spot any of them.
That's so. You should do like a trivia thing, like in your Facebook group, or like make people guess what they are.
Oh yeah,
like
okay, that's fun. Yeah,
that'd be really fun.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, that'd be good for like activity in the group, right? Because you have a Facebook group.
Yes,
right. Yeah, and you just hit 300 members. Is that the post I saw recently?
I'm greedy. I've got 2 Facebook groups because I've got one that is just dedicated to Omegaverse, so it's called Soft and Steamy Omegaverse, and then because it's a little bit different, Fractured Fates, I started a new one so that people could go and talk about that without, if they didn't feel that they want to talk about Omegaverse. So that's called Hannah Haze's Hot Romance Reads, I think. Yeah.
Right. That's one I think I'm in. I don't think I'm in the other one, so I need to join for sure. And then you're on TikTok and you're on Instagram.
Yes.
Right.
I'm a bit lapsed on TikTok at the moment, but I am there.
Okay. Yeah. Because I was pretty sure.
I'm one of those people that sometimes are really active for a long time, and then I take a break for a while.
But and you have a newsletter, right?
Yeah, I have a newsletter.
Oh yeah.
Because I'm a subscriber to that.
Oh,
and
cool.
That's when I find out all about your Kickstarters.
Oh yeah.
Do you think we'll do one for Fractured Fates?
Yes, definitely. So I've already got some really I've got some really nice art already done, some of the scenes, and I've also just had this amazing artist do some like the main characters, each of the main characters. So I'm gonna make those up into really pretty character cards. I've said my daughter is nearly 14 and she's really good at art. So I said, this is your project for the Easter holidays. You're gonna make these all look really pretty.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
And yeah, I've got the designer who actually did the Pack Rivals one for me is booked in for the summer to do some special.
I love that. The Pack Rivals one was beautiful.
Yeah. I'm hoping this time I might be able to do some more fancy things, because being over here in the UK, we've got less options at the moment, but it looks like one of the printers is going to start doing some of the fancy stuff, like the edges and the foiling. So hopefully by the summer, I might be able to do some of that stuff. I've just got to work out how to do it because it's going to be 5 books.
Yeah.
So it'll be too big for one. So it's whether I keep them 5 separate or do like maybe 2, put them together.
Omnibus. Yeah.
I'm just going to work that out. Yeah. So
that's exciting. That's
very exciting.
Yeah, the artwork is good, especially she's captured Renzo and the Man in Black in particular really well. They're really, really good.
Can't wait for that.
Yeah.
So it's got to be surreal to you, right? Because you set out starting to write, you never know like how well you'll do, and obviously you've done very, very well, So are you just like, do you ever just like pinch yourself and you just can't believe that like your books are like, because you've been in the bestseller list for Pack Rivals. That's how I found you, was on the bestseller list for Pack. Like when I say bestseller list, you were in the top 100 for Paranormal Romance.
Yeah.
Wow.
That is hard to do on Amazon. That is really hard to do. Same thing with Fractured Fates and Twisted Fates. Top 100.
Yeah, it's complete pinch yourself all the time. Like when I remember publishing that first book and thinking, is anybody going to read this or not? Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, completely amazing. And always really humbling as well when people enjoy the books or are excited about the books. So it's an amazing feeling. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you come across so humble too. Like you just come across as one of the nicest people. So like that was in person, like off camera when we were at FFB too, so
that's what I was going to say. FFB was my first book signing ever. And, so I fly halfway around the world to be a part of it. And I was really moved by how nice and gracious everybody was, but especially the ones that I got to directly interact with. And to us fans, it's kind of in my world and being new to this world, it's kind of like meeting a movie star, and
it is.
You have like a certain image of how they're going to be, and then when you meet them, and you're like, I could go out to dinner with that person and just hang out and talk and have fun. And we did. My husband and I came and we talked to you and your husband at the ball afterwards, and it was it was surreal for me. So that's a good word.
Yeah.
But I was very, very taken by how friendly and gracious. And when I say this, I'm doing it as a whole, but I'm directing this at you specifically because I got to spend some time with you, and it was lovely. It really was. So that was a fun part of the whole experience for me.
Yeah. No, I agree. Everyone is, all the other authors I meet are always really, really lovely. And so, and like, particularly in the Omegaverse little world, everyone's always like helping each other out and giving each other little bits of advice and information. It's a really nice community. We're very lucky. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. And it's like, I know as readers, like what Sandy was saying a second ago, we love to meet authors. That's why we go to book signings. You know, we love to meet authors, and we love it when they take the time to talk to us. And also, like, when we message them on Facebook, and if they take the time to respond to Facebook Messenger or however, you know, or in their Facebook group, you know, that is so powerful. And thankfully, a lot of authors understand that, and they really care about their fans. But not all authors are that way. And so when you meet someone like you, it's truly like, it's just remarkable, because it's like, you already love the book. You already think the book is amazing. And you're excited about the book, but then it's like, you know, icing on the cake, right? When you meet the author in person, like you had said earlier, do you ever think about the author you read? Well, yeah, we particularly do now because of how much we work with authors now, you know, like me, like when I first started reading the very first author I became friends with, and I started reading their books, it was weird at first because it was like, you know, like she's my friend now and I'm reading what she's writing and I'm having a hard time separating it. But I got through that really fast. Not like, you know, I really fast, you know, like when I read Twisted Fates, and I already talked to you a couple of times, I was good, you know. But long-winded to say that it's just really special that you're so nice and that you take the time to come on something like this with us and just talk to us regular, you know, we're just regular humans, you know, you're this amazing writer, you know, so it's just awesome. And
well, so I do really enjoy like answering people's messages and replying, but there are always ones that do slip past, because like, especially
you're busy.
Well, not so much that, but like on Instagram, where you get those ones which are like requests, and then by the time I spotted them, it's already gone. So if I ever do miss anyone, it's not intentional. I do, like I said, I get my energy from people, so I actually do quite enjoy the like going in and replying to everyone. So yeah, if I do ever miss anyone out there, just send me another one and nudge me again. I'm quite happy if people do that.
Oh, that's awesome. That's great. Seriously. And I get that. Like it's the message request section, right? And all these different, like even Facebook, you get the message request section, and you miss them. So that makes sense.
Yeah.
Anyways. Well, before we end, why don't you tell us just final stuff? Like I know you have a release coming out on Thursday, right?
Yes.
Just anything else that you want to let all of your fans know, like the inside scoop?
Oh my goodness, Rebecca, that
I did it last time too, didn't I? Did I do the same thing to you before?
No, I don't think so.
I didn't? Okay.
So next week on the 4th of April is Shattered Stars release, which is a third book. And then also coming the following month is Pat Gamble Part 2. So if I have left you on either of those cliffhangers, I'm sorry. It's coming. It's going to all end soon. It's going to be fine. Then what else? So we already talked about the Facebook groups. You can, like you said, you can find me on all the usual places, Instagram and TikTok, and you can sign up to my newsletter. That goes out every other week with little bits of news from me and sometimes little teasers and stuff. Yeah, I think that's
awesome. And I forgot to mention, you're the featured author for March for the big group.
Yes,
I forgot to mention it. You're the featured author, so you're featured in the newsletter, which is going out in the next. When do we think, you guys? I don't know. Is it this week?
I hope this week. We're gonna aim for the end of this week.
We have so many. How many people do we have working on the newsletter now? It's insane.
All of them.
Yeah. It's like, you know,
it's a group effort.
It's a group effort.
There's chances to win, aren't there? So I'm doing 5 paperbacks and then 5 ebooks.
That's right. 5 paperbacks of either Pack Rivals or Fractured Fate signed, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And then 5 ebooks of one or the other, which is an amazing giveaway. And what we'll do in the group is we look through a couple different things. Like we'll look at the live video that I did that's in the announcements right now, loving on Fractured Fates and Pack Rivals and who was gaga about it. We'll look at the comments from these lives or this live in different places. We will look at, I guess maybe in the group though, because it goes to the group. So like the big 46,000 group, FanGrrrl Romance Recs. And then we will randomly pick from our newsletter subscribers. We will look at who's active in the group and who's doing posts about Hannah and how much they love her books. So we look at all those things to decide who the winners are. And yeah, and then we'll announce it in the newsletter. So it's very exciting. So there's still time. So get out there and get active in the group and say how much you love Hannah.
And the signed books will be coming from England, so they might even get like an English postage stamp on it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wait a minute, because I don't think I've asked you this. So you're saying the winners can be for the signed books outside of the UK? Is that what you just said?
Yeah, fine. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh,
that is a game changer.
That changes it all. Because like a lot of times with the authors, we stay within country. No. You guys heard it first. And like Amy, when we're figuring out the winners.
A lot of my readers are from the US, so that would just be a bit mean to do that. So no, absolutely fine. Yeah.
Oh, we love you. We love you so much.
That's huge, guys. Because like postage and like customs, it's a big deal, So wow, thank you. That's so generous of you. Just crazy. Thank you.
Cool.
Okay, good. Sorry, I wasn't sure we were going to say something. Okay. All right, you guys. Well, we're going to hang up. This has been a great live. Thank you, Hannah, so much for coming on.
Thank you very much for having me,
Amy.
Thank you.
It's awesome. This will be posted in the group and also be on the YouTube channel if you want to check it out. So, all right, you guys. Thank you so much. Till next time.
Thanks, Hannah. It was great seeing you again.
Thank you too. Lovely to see you.
Bye. Thank you.
Take care.